Let's talk about Raven-Symone or Raven-Symone, who is opening up about this whole discourse regarding Bill Cosby. Because a lot of people have felt like, can you separate the man and his personal messiness from liking a TV show? And so she addressed it on this recent podcast that she went on, that Jamie Kennedy, from Randy Meeks, from best known as Randy Meeks from the Scream movies. Yeah, he got a podcast called Hate to Break It to You. And she went on there. She's 39, by the way. I'm like, God damn, time flies. So she said, separate the creator from the creation. And that's just where I live. The creation changed America and changed television. Cosby, who's 88, conceived his eponymous The Cosby Show in the 1980s, which ran for 8 seasons about a fictional black family in Philly. This one, they were in New York. So, am I bugging? When was The Cosby Show in Philadelphia? I thought it was in New York. But anyway, so because they lived in a brownstone. Now they said Simone got her big break on the Cosby Show, joining in the final years as Cosby's on-screen stepdaughter Olivia. Now, decades after the Cosby Show wrapped, the comedian was accused of sexual misconduct by more than 60 women. He was convicted on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault in 2018, and he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. But he only served 2 years, and then he was released in 2021 when his conviction was overturned on an appeal. Cosby has long maintained his innocence regarding every misconduct accusation. However, he could say he's innocent till the cows come home. I truly believe he did everything he did to the women. And one of the things I've always noticed, like when you see people like Bill Cosby who love the Cosby Show, I grew up on the Cosby Show. Seeing a family like the Cosby Show was definitely admirable. Even though like I come from a two-family household and I was always shown positivity when it comes to like relationships and marriage and growing up in a black household. Well, my mother's not a black woman, but I did grow up mostly with my father's side, which is my black side of the family. I've been more closer to them than I was my mother's side of the family. I think my mother kept us from, for the most part, from a lot of her side of the family because, child's a long story, got drug addicts. She told me today one of my uncles filed, I mean, one of my cousins actually got out of prison. And she said all the felons went up there to get him. He was in Pennsylvania or something or another. But anyway, so she kept us from my her side of the family, my grandmother, mother, that whole side of the family, because it was just a lot of family drama and stuff that was going on over there. I didn't really get along with my aunt, and it was just a lot of mess and a lot of drama and a lot of craziness on the other side of the family. So for the most part, we kind of just like stayed away from them. We would go and see every now and again, but for the most part, I gravitated more towards my father's side of the family. But um seeing that, it was definitely a positive show. And then, of course, a different world and this, that, and the other. And yes, Bill Cosby is definitely a staple in black households. He is someone who has created a lot of iconic TV. But the thing that used to always rub me the wrong way is how he would look down on other black people, particularly if you were from a low income background. It was always like how he would always act like he was better than everybody. And that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I think that when all these allegations came out, because I always say when people pointing fingers at you, the other four is pointing back at them. And they got some deep rooted stuff that's going on. So Bill Cosby always kind of had his nose up in the air. It always came across as like very much like holier than thou. So when this stuff came out about him, oh, I was salivating at the mouth because I always felt like while we love the Cosby Show and we liked all the things you created, A Different World, still love that show. You can watch A Different World on the streaming services. I think Netflix has it. I kind of wish we could still watch the Cosby Show. I think the only way you can watch it is like if you have Philo and if you have like a DVR or whatever, you could set it for like to record or save, and you can just go back and watch all those episodes. But if you want to watch on like any of the streaming services, unless you got a physical copy of them stuff, you cannot watch that show. And I do feel like in this case, because of what Raven is saying, it's sad that everybody from that show has to suffer because of his actions. So people can't even watch the Cosby Show. I feel like it's a forgotten gem. And there was a lot of iconic moments from that show. So I think I kind of agree with her in this whole situation where she is like we gotta separate the creator from the creation. Because she went on to say that she said he has been accused of some horrific things, and that does not excuse anything. But that's his personally keep and personally keep that there, and then business wise know what he did there as well. Both can live, and I think our culture is right to not do wrong. You just can't do wrong. She has seldom, and now in the past, and this is actually interesting, I guess we could say, because she doesn't really address this Cosby controversial situation. It's like she's always kind of like kept that minding her business, was off doing her own thing, with That's So Raven and the Cheetah Girls and Kim Possible, and off doing her thing with her wife and The View and those other, like she was staying out of it. So it was interesting that she addressed all this. And it was interesting that she actually talked to Jamie Kennedy, of all people. She said, I got into the Disney family when I was 13 on a movie called Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. It was just really interesting because nobody from Disney at the time had a career like mine prior to signing with Disney. I already had two shows, I already had two albums, I already did a movie, and I already had done all kinds of things. Child, I'm not even ashamed. I bought Raven-Symone album. I used to be up in there singing That's What Little Girls Are Made Of and Hip Hop Teddy Bear. Bitch, I would get like yes and and did. I was up in there singing along to Hip Hop Teddy Bear. That was my song. I think Missy Elliott helped write a lot of those songs. Now, according to Simone, she and her team attempted to keep ties on what was underneath Disney umbrella and what belonged to the actress, and said that it all became wonderfully muddy when the character was named after me. It was amazing because very rarely do women get that as much as a man does, but I was the youngest to have a show named after her of color and female, and I continued my career. I said, let's keep going with Disney. They're doing a great job. And that's why I like, you know, back in the day, before all this mess started with these racists, there was so much creativity and pushing boundaries and diversity and stuff. And now it feels like we don't even get that anymore. It's like everybody's scared to just tell stories from different points of view. And then she also told about her music career. Said my music career didn't do so well underneath their bracket because I didn't subscribe to some of those things that were being asked of me. She noted just the type of music. I'm your Bjork person. I like weird original stuff anyway. Music didn't pan out in that world, and I'm okay with that because I got to keep the power and control over my music career in a way that no one else really had at that time. When she was basically talking about she switched to Disney's label. And since remained on amicable terms, she's still amicable with Disney execs. And she did the Ravens Home spinoff, executive producing and starring in that. And so there was a lot of stuff regarding that. But I have to agree with her on everything in regards to the whole Bill Cosby thing. And so I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with Raven Simone that yes, you need to separate the creator from the creation? I think it's easier to do that with television and films versus music. Or at least for me, I can say that I can tend to separate more when I'm watching a show or if I'm watching a movie. Because there's a lot of movies that I love with problematic ass people in it, like Mel Gibson, or like I love Braveheart. Although there's one scene with the gay son that I hate that sequence. So I don't really watch that movie much. But if Leave the Weapon came on, I'm going to watch it. Sylvester Stallone with his Trumpian ass. Like I love Rocky, not all of them. I like Rocky and Rocky 2. I love Rambo and Rambo First Blood Part 2. Well, First Blood is Rambo, the first one. And then in First Blood Part 2, I love Demolition Man. I like a lot of the movies that Sylvester Stallone does. I love Cobra. There's a lot of great movies, but he's done some things that people find deemed problematic. So I could separate when it's an ensemble. When you're one artist, like a musician, like a R. Kelly, and you've incorporated some of them sexcapades that you was doing to them girls in your music, I feel like it's hard to separate the talent from the creator from the creation when your music contains things that are deemed inappropriate that you've incorporated from your personal stuff you was doing to young girls in your music. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.